one of the things that I think is significant about her is that she's been told her entire life, Lee, that it's not your time yet. And each time, she has found a way to get it done regardless. More on that in a second. Here's the NCAA champion, Cambria Sturgis. In fact, she's the double champion, 100 and 200 meters on this track a week ago.
Yesterday in her heat, she was not daunted by the company she was surrounded by.
She was not, and if she continues to keep that attitude, I think she's looking like a finalist. She looked very good yesterday.
There are 2 Olympians in this field. Jenna Prandini is one. Jenna starts in lane 6. The other is in lane 7. That's Tiana Bartoletta.
Tiana Bartoletta, long jump reigning Olympic champion, but she led off 2 of the best relays ever for Team USA, including the world record in 2012. Sha'Carri Richardson, when she said when she was in high school, they said, well, you're not going to go to college and dominate those women. She went to LSU her freshman year. She sets the collegiate record. And she turned pro, and they said, well, you're young. You have to pay your dues. Here she is, second fastest in the world.
Richardson said, I could just tell you this is another race, but I have to give respect to the magnitude of this event. Sha'Carri Richardson with that bright orange hair. She wasn't the first out of the blocks. On the inside, Tiana Daniels got a good start, but this is where Richardson winds up and eases back. She points to the time, 10:65. How about that? Eclipses her 10:72.
It's wind aided, but she started pointing at the clock 30 meters before. She started pointing at the clock 30 meters before the finish line. And as my coach always said, if you're pointing at 30, it means you're thinking about it at 50 meters before the line. Look, I said yesterday, Lee, we're essentially trying to figure out who are the other 2 that are going to make the U.S. team, because nobody is beating this. I know she's behind, but look at the acceleration. Look at the relaxation, and now she's like, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm bored. I'm going to point at the clock.
Oh, my goodness. The orange hair, by the way, is symbolic of I'm running on fire. And she most certainly was. Her girlfriend chose the color for this weekend's trials.
And she's got to be careful because she stepped on the inside lane. You don't want to get thrown out of the trials for impeding anybody. But what an impressive run that was. Pointing at the clock, a la Carmelita Jeter in the 2012 Olympics when she anchored the relay that broke the world record. That's number 8 all time. Equal number 8 all time, all conditions.
By the way, there were another 7 athletes in that race, and Tiana Daniels and Jenna Prandini, they qualify. They go through to tomorrow night's final. Top 3, and then the next fastest 2 on time will make tomorrow night's final. Lewis Johnson, how about that?
How about that? I have not seen anyone having as much fun as Sha'Carri Richardson is having right now. So, a major statement in terms of time, but what do you want the world to know about what you just did in this semifinal run?
I just want the world to know that I'm that girl that every time I step on the track, I'm going to try to do what it is that me, my coach, my support team believe I can do, and the talent that God blessed me to have to do every time I step on the track. I'm never going to take an opportunity to perform for Jay in vain.
Let's take it back from the start, Sha'Carri. You didn't have the traditional start that we saw. So what happened there and how did you recover?
Honestly, not panicking. Me and my coach, we have this method. We know my start is not quite the best, like the world loves to point out. But we know what it is to do, what I do. Excuse me, I'm out of breath. The part of the race that I do know I'm great at, we just continue to make sure that I'm not too far behind. As when I get to that part of the race, I do what I can know to do and everybody else know that I can do.
And it's just a semifinal, but we saw the interaction with your family. We look forward to more in the final.
Yeah.
Congrats on a tremendous performance.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you
Running
then.
through the line for the final.
All right.
And remember, if she runs through the line, you better get ready. She is going to run something even more spectacular than what we just saw.
She's saying, look at me. Look at what I can do. The nails, the hair, the attitude, but the speed. In semi-final of the women's 100.
She was the Olympic trials winner 5 years ago in 2016, but she has had a difficult year, including contracting COVID. And, you know, some people had the coronavirus and had no symptoms. She said she had all the symptoms, some of which are still lingering.
And she's got those long hauler symptoms,
yep,
which she is pushing through. Gabby Thomas, the Harvard grad, starred yesterday in her heat. She was unstoppable.
She probably comes in here as the favorite in the 200, but she looked so good yesterday, setting a personal best in her opening heat, that we think that she is looking like a finalist and maybe even a team member in these trials.
And not being greedy, she said she was watching the heats of the 400 yesterday as well. Gee, I think I could have got to the semis. I really do. So Gabby Thomas wants to do it all. We also have to keep an eye on lane 3. That's Aaliyah Hobbs, the 2018 National 100 champion.
Trying to make her very first U.S. national team. Only 2 Americans have run faster than her 10:91 in 2021. Watch for the fast starting Desiree Bryant. She'll be in lane 2. Twanisha Terry in lane 1, the NCAA runner-up in the 100. There's Bryant on the right.
And we haven't mentioned lane 5, Javianne Oliver. Oh, that was Gabby Thomas.
Uh-oh.
That was Gabby Thomas.
She's out. They're not going to excuse that.
That wasn't even close.
They're not going to forgive that. Oh, man.
And she won't forgive herself for a while.
And here is a case of somebody who is not used to being in high-pressure 100-meter rounds. She's right here. Yeah, she just jumped. She's not used to being in high-pressure 100-meter rounds. This is not like running at Mount Sac or running somewhere else around the country. Oh, yeah. Yep, Gabby Thomas is done in the 100 at these Olympic trials, and she knew it. You see the look on her face? She's like, oh, the worst timing. And I'm telling you, Lee, I thought she was running well enough where if she continued on the trajectory she showed yesterday, she could have made this team. Oh, wow.
They did Aaliyah Hobbs.
So maybe she was drawn out. Maybe Gabby was drawn out by Aaliyah Hobbs.
And look.
Oh, my gosh. They're called trials for a reason.
This is devastating. Devastating.
So let's look again now, but look at lane 3, Aaliyah Hobbs. So that flinch drew Gabby out.
Oh, my.
And it's Aaliyah Hobbs.
Olympic dreams shattered for a national champion.
She's never made a U.S. team, and she's never run at the Olympic trials prior to this one. She's a 3rd fastest American, and she's out.
Let's do it again in the women's 100. Gabby Thomas not so swift out that time. Javianne Oliver is. It's Javianne Oliver who leads the way clearly. And English Gardner's coming on, but Javianne Oliver in lane 5 in 10:84.
So the wind continues to be just over the legal allowable at 2.5. But Gabby Thomas, after a tough start, ran herself all the way back to 2nd. And guess who is into the final? English Gardner. She's hard to beat in this building, Lee.
Talk about the swings in emotion. From Aaliyah Hobbs, that slight twitch, to the restart, the reset, and Javianne Oliver blasted out of the blocks.
Javianne Oliver is the 2018 60-meter U.S. champion, so she's always going to get a good start. But she ran the second half pretty spectacularly as well. You see Gabby Thomas coming up to get that 2nd spot. And English Gardner, who we talked about her struggles all year in finding form, she's found her form, and she's now into the final.
Look at that relief from Gabby Thomas. She thought that she may have been the one who false started earlier. The 24-year-old from Massachusetts is through to the women's 100-meter final. The Harvard grad who continues her studies in Austin, Texas. She's feeling elated. For Aaliyah Hobbs, it's devastation. So here she